as you can tell, I'm out here digging. This is the new ripper that we're demoing. It's a 870 case Ecolo Tiger, and we wanted to demo it, see how it did on our ground, and do some of our end rows. So I'm doing that right now. We got a couple hundred acres corn done. Since this is the only field we have corn on, and there's rain in the forecast for tonight and tomorrow. They said upwards of an inch, which if we get that much rain at this point in the game, we are, it's not going to be good, because it's going to be cold and it's not going to dry out. So it's going to stick around if we get that much precipitation. So on this side of the field, there's a slough. And so this year we wanted to try and get rid of that slough, because for a while now we've just been farming around it, and sorry, I gotta turn around here. But we wanted to try and farm through it since we tiled it. For the last couple of years we've had to farm around it since it's still been too wet, but since this year it's we think it's dried up, so we're gonna try and disc through it. That way we can try and farm it in the spring next year. So that's what I'm doing right now. So far my thoughts on the ripper are it's a pretty solid machine. We've got it set right now, so we figure we're probably going about a foot into the ground right now. Once I get done tilling here, I'll go back and I'll kind of show you some of the main points of the machine and give you a little bit more in-depth opinion of what I think about it. And after I do that, there's a couple other things out at the hog barn and the shop that I want to show you, since I haven't had time to do some of that stuff. So for the most part, this is just going to be kind of a running video, so stay with me. It's going to get a little boring, I bet, but that way it's just less editing for me, and I can just give you the facts that I wanted to give you, and I won't have to worry about editing a whole bunch. So once I get this done, I'll head over there and show you that. Since I'm here finally, here's the slough I was talking about. As you can see, I've been going through it for the last couple of passes, but we're hoping that we can get this dug up, so like I said, we can farm through it in the springtime. So anyway, I'll get back to it, and then once I finish up, I'll head over to the barn and I'll show you they started making the foundation for the shop, so I'll go over there and show you that. Wait, I think I got lost. Okay, good. I think I'm not lost anymore. That's probably an obstacle I'm going to want to go around. This isn't something you see every day. Whee! It's like Christmas, it's snowing, yay! Alright, I got the vast majority of that slough done, so before it gets dark out, I'm going to come up here to the barn and show you what it looks like. So here it is. Looks a little bit different, huh? So the one thing I wanted to make a correction about was, remember these sump holes I was talking about? There's 4 on this side and 4 on the other side. The one thing I didn't know was I said that they were all connected, and then they all ran down to a line that they'd pump it out. Well, I was wrong. So these fan units actually come off of here, I believe. And there's a machine that when they come and pump it out, sticks kind of like a giant hose right down in there and agitates it, excuse me, which means it just stirs it up to kind of mix it up and make it even mixture, so it makes it so not all the solids are at the bottom and all the liquid is at the top, so it kind of agitates it and just mixes it around so it's an even mixture. And so it'll go to each sump or every other sump depending upon how much they can get, and they'll just stick their boom down in there and suck it out. So that's one thing I wanted to make a correction about, because I wasn't 100% sure, and so I just kind of guessed, which I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did. So hopefully we'll go take a look inside and see what it looks like in there. Alright, actually I changed my mind. I got in there and it's actually pretty dark in there once the sun goes down, so I will have to come back another time and do a whole tour of the barn, and I'll show you exactly how things work and where things are in the barn. But other than that, I wanted to go up to the yard to where the shop is going to be, but I don't know how I'm going to get down there without walking. I don't want to walk all the way over there. So I will have to save that for another time as well. I know I just said that I would, and I apologize, but it is supposed to rain. Like I said, tomorrow there is rain in the forecast, tonight and tomorrow, so hopefully we don't get as much as they anticipated, because if we do, we're going to be kind of SOL. So at any rate, things are going smooth here, and things are pretty exciting times up here. So I am going to call it a wrap for this video, but I will, trust me, you have my word, I will do a tour of this whole unit, and I will at some point show you what they have done so far in the shop. But things just haven't been working out. I've been busy, we've been harvesting, and when I get, it's for the most part, it's just me and my dad and another friend that helps us, so I can't really skip and just go film some things. So since we don't have enough people, so it is what it is. But I promise you, I will get that filmed, and I will show you what's going around here, because I myself am very, very excited. So I have a little bit of tillage left to do. I'm gonna get back to that. But before I go, I did tell you I would give you a little bit more information about this ripper. So let's do that. We have our 550 pulling this. This particular unit, like I said, is an 870 KC Calo Tiger. This one is a 9 shank, so there are no foldable wings for the shanks, but the closing discs and these forward discs, opening discs if you want to call them, have hydraulic wings on them. It is a 20 foot, it's 20 feet wide. One thing I didn't know, since you know we have never had one of these, we just have typical, we have a turbo tiller and we have a field cultivator. We don't have any a deep tillage machine like this. So one thing I didn't know, on the opening discs here and the closing discs, they are all hydraulic, as you can see. This cylinder will push these discs farther into the ground or raise them up. And I thought that these machines were ran off this right here. If you don't know what this is just a depth setter. In this point, this, I believe, levels the machine, because as right now as it sits, it's kind of sitting up at an angle. Then when you set it down on the ground, it'll level out. But on most of our machines, this tool right here, all you do is you just turn it. I can't turn it with one hand. Oh, I kind of did. But anyway, at any rate, on most of our machines, this lowers or raises the machine. We have to do it by hand. It's not hydraulically, which I thought was very neat. Now back here to the main attraction, the shanks here. Now these are huge. I've only seen these like in pictures or driving by, but up close and in person, these things are huge. From about here to here is about, oh, I'd say 18, 20 inches. These are big shanks, along with some big springs. Just to give you an idea, there's my forearm and some of my arm. That's how big these springs are. So even in the ground, you know, with most things like our field cultivator, those all have springs. Same with our Salford, which is classified as a turbo tiller. That has springs. And when this shank is in the ground, these springs do not move unless it hits something, which is pretty impressive, because that just tells you how big and how strong this spring is right here, for it to not even flex when that's in the ground. That's pretty impressive. So like I said, right now we're running it about a foot into the ground. We have never used one of these. We're trying things out. We think we have some compaction issues since up until about 2 years ago, we never had a grain cart. So we would always, when we did corn, we'd always truck the trucks about midfield. That way the combine could go from the middle down to the end, back to the middle, and dump, and then back to the other end of the field to the middle and dump, because we didn't have a grain cart to chase with. So driving loaded trucks through the middle of the field, through all these years, we believe we have some compaction issues. So, oops. As you can see, this machine, for the closing units, it has closing discs, and it also has these very thick fingers, this harrow. Now, the only thing I don't like about this is these fingers and these chains like to get stuck like that. I much prefer the rolling baskets. That's what we have on our Salford. Very nice. The only thing I don't like about the rolling baskets is if it's very, very muddy, they'll plug up, and they're a pain to get unplugged. So, but so far my initial thoughts is it's doing a great job out there. It's chopping up the roots, it's digging deep, it's making a nice even soil bed, unlike the field cultivator with those tiny little shanks. If you hit a rock or if you're going too deep, you'll bend them and twist them. And so on our field cultivator, they're all bent, twisted, whatnot. With this, these are all level, and it makes a nice even seed bed. Closing discs really mulch up those roots and the stalks, and I think it's doing a great job so far. So this is not new, by the way. This is used. This is actually for sale at a park and sell, and we contacted the man who contacted the owner, and we asked him if we could kind of rent it, and he said, yeah, that'll be fine. So that's what we're doing. We're just kind of renting it from him and testing it out. So I have been the only one to run this thing, so in my opinion, I like it. I think it's what we need around here to get rid of some of our compaction issues, especially on the headlands, where the trucks are always driving and where all the equipment is normally driving. It compacts down the end rows, and you can tell going through our fields that our end rows are not as healthy as they are in the middle of the field, where not a whole lot of equipment plants. So we're going to test it out. Hopefully in the spring when we plant, it'll give us some different results. So we will see how it works. But until then, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe and turn your notifications on, so that way when I post a video you get a notification, you can watch and enjoy. So until next time, I'll see you later.